The human body is a highly efficient system, and one of its most important parts is the kidneys. Even though these organs are not very large, they perform some of the most essential tasks to keep us alive and healthy. Located deep inside your lower back, the kidneys are part of a system called the urinary system, which also includes the bladder, ureters, and urethra. Their main job is to filter your blood, remove waste, balance fluids, and regulate blood pressure. Think of them like the body's natural cleaning machines that work every second of the day without taking a break. You might not often think about your kidneys, but they work hard behind the scenes. Every single day, they process about 50 gallons of blood and filter out about 2 quarts of waste and extra water. These wastes leave the body in the form of urine. Without kidneys, waste products would build up in your body and poison you. That's why understanding the kidneys, even in simple terms, is so important. Whether you are curious about how your body works or just want to appreciate the incredible design of your internal organs, learning about the kidneys can give you a better understanding of how to care for your health. Main parts of the kidneys. To really understand how the kidneys work, we need to break them down into their main parts. Just like a house has rooms with different purposes, the kidney has areas and structures that perform different jobs. Each kidney has an outer area and an inner area, and inside those are smaller units that filter the blood and make urine. All these parts work together to make sure everything is cleaned, balanced, and functioning properly. The kidneys are shaped like a bean and are about the size of a fist. They sit on either side of your spine, right below your rib cage. Each kidney contains over 1 million tiny filters called nephrons, which do the actual work of filtering the blood. The kidneys also have blood vessels coming in and out, collecting ducts, and a central space where the urine is collected before it goes to the bladder. Now that we've looked at the general structure, let's go into the details of each part of the kidney so you can understand how this small organ performs such big tasks. Renal capsule. The renal capsule is the thin outer layer that wraps around each kidney. It's like the protective covering of the kidney, similar to how a phone case protects a phone. This layer is tough and fibrous, meaning it's strong and can protect the inner parts of the kidney from injury or infection. Though it doesn't do any of the actual filtering work, the renal capsule is important because it keeps the kidney's shape and provides an extra layer of safety. Inside the renal capsule, everything else is neatly packed and organized. Without this layer, the kidney's structure would be vulnerable and might not function correctly. The capsule also keeps harmful substances from reaching the sensitive tissues inside the kidney. Renal cortex. Just beneath the capsule is the renal cortex. This is the outer layer of the kidney's inside part, and it's where much of the filtering begins. The cortex contains parts of the nephron, the tiny filtering units that clean the blood. It's a soft, granular layer that plays a major role in making urine. The renal cortex is full of blood vessels and small tubes. These tubes collect the filtered material and pass it on to deeper parts of the kidney for further processing. The cortex is important because it houses the glomeruli, which are the starting points of blood filtration. Without the cortex, the kidneys wouldn't be able to do their main job. Renal medulla. Below the cortex lies the renal medulla. This part of the kidney looks like a series of pyramid-shaped sections. These are called the renal pyramids. The medulla handles most of the urine concentration work. When blood is filtered in the cortex, the waste travels into these pyramids, where more water and useful substances can be absorbed back into the body if needed. This step is essential for maintaining the body's fluid balance. If you're dehydrated, the renal medulla helps the body hold on to more water. If you have too much water, it helps release the extra fluid, so the medulla helps fine-tune the urine before it's sent out of the kidney. Renal pyramids and papilla. Each of the renal pyramids has a pointed end, known as the renal papilla. This is where the final version of the urine exits the pyramid and goes into a small collecting space. These pyramids are designed to direct urine smoothly into the next part of the kidney. The papillae are small but important because they make sure the urine leaves the pyramid without any blockages. If this part gets blocked by something like a kidney stone, it can cause pain and stop the kidney from working properly. The design of the pyramids helps the kidney function like a conveyor belt, moving filtered waste smoothly along its path. Renal columns. Between the pyramids, there are sections called renal columns. These are not involved in filtering but are important for support. They contain blood vessels and connective tissue that supply the cortex and medulla with oxygen and nutrients. Without these columns, the kidney's structure would not be as organized, and it wouldn't get the nutrients it needs. Think of the renal columns as the pillars that support a building. They hold everything in place and allow other parts to work efficiently. Nephrons. Nephrons are the functional units of the kidney, and there are about 1 to 1.5 million of them in each kidney. Each nephron is like a tiny factory that filters blood, reabsorbs useful substances, and sends waste away as urine. The nephron has several important parts: the glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, proximal tubule, loop of Henle, distal tubule, and collecting duct. Every drop of blood in your body passes through these nephrons many times each day. The nephrons are where the real magic of the kidneys happens. They separate what the body needs, like glucose, water, and salts, from what it doesn't, like urea and toxins. This filtration happens quickly and accurately thanks to the detailed structure of the nephron. Glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. The glomerulus is a tiny ball of capillaries, small blood vessels, where the blood is first filtered. It sits inside a cup-shaped structure called the Bowman's capsule. Together, these two parts act like a sieve or strainer. The blood enters the glomerulus and water, salts, and small molecules pass through into the capsule, while larger molecules and blood cells stay behind in the bloodstream. This step is the start of the filtration process. It's like pouring water through a coffee filter. The liquid goes through, but the grounds stay behind. If the filter is damaged, things that should stay in the blood can leak into the urine, which can be dangerous. Proximal convoluted tubule. After the Bowman's capsule, the filtered fluid enters the proximal convoluted tubule. This part is responsible for reabsorbing most of the useful substances back into the blood. These include water, glucose, amino acids, and various ions like sodium and potassium. If this didn't happen, your body would lose a lot of important nutrients every time you went to the bathroom. This part of the nephron also helps remove certain toxins. It decides what to keep and what to throw away. It works continuously, adjusting to the body's needs. For example, after a workout, it may reabsorb more water to prevent dehydration. Loop of Henle. A U-shaped tube that goes deep into the medulla. Its main job is to concentrate the urine by removing water and salt at different points. The loop has a descending and an ascending limb. The descending limb lets water leave the tube, while the ascending limb pumps out salts but keeps water in. This process helps the body conserve water, which is especially important when you're not drinking enough fluids. The loop of Henle is what allows the kidney to make concentrated urine, saving water for the body while still getting rid of waste. Distal convoluted tubule. The fluid then flows into the distal convoluted tubule. This part continues to reabsorb more salts and regulates the pH level, acidity, of your body. It communicates with hormones like aldosterone and adjusts how much salt is kept or lost, depending on what your body needs. This is like the fine-tuning stage. The distal tubule works with the rest of your body to make sure your blood pressure, salt levels, and pH are just right. If there's a problem here, it can lead to serious issues like high blood pressure or acid-base imbalance. Collecting duct. Finally, the processed fluid, now urine, enters the collecting duct. These ducts carry the urine down through the kidney's pyramids to the renal papilla, and then into the pelvis of the kidney. Along the way, the collecting ducts may still absorb water depending on signals from hormones like antidiuretic hormone, ADH. The collecting duct is like the final checkpoint. Once the urine passes through here, it can't be changed anymore. It's sent out of the kidney into a funnel-like space called the renal pelvis, ready to be sent to the bladder through the ureters. Renal pelvis and ureters. The renal pelvis is a central space inside the kidney that collects urine from all the collecting ducts. From here, the urine flows into the ureter, which is a long tube that connects each kidney to the bladder. The ureters use small muscle movements to push the urine down into the bladder, where it's stored until you urinate. Even though it sounds simple, this part of the system is critical. If urine backs up or the flow is blocked, it can cause pain, infection, or damage to the kidneys. The renal pelvis and ureters keep everything moving smoothly out of the body. Blood supply to the kidneys. The kidneys have a rich blood supply because they need to filter large amounts of blood constantly. Each kidney gets blood from the renal artery, a large vessel that branches off from the main artery of the body, the aorta. Inside the kidney, the artery divides into smaller and smaller branches, eventually reaching the nephrons. Once the blood has been filtered, it leaves the kidney through the renal vein. This clean blood then returns to the rest of the body. The fact that the kidneys get about 20% of the heart's output shows just how important they are. Hormone production. Besides filtering blood, the kidneys also produce important hormones. One of them is erythropoietin, which helps your body make red blood cells. Another is renin, which helps control your blood pressure. The kidneys also help activate vitamin D, which is necessary for strong bones. So, the kidneys are not just filters, they are also hormone factories. Without them, your blood pressure, red blood cell count, and bone health could all suffer. This shows how the kidneys connect to nearly every part of your overall health. To sum it up, the kidneys are truly remarkable organs. Though they are small in size, their role in the body is massive. They filter out waste, regulate fluids, manage blood pressure, produce hormones, and even help with bone health. Each part of the kidney, from the renal cortex to the collecting duct, has a specific job, and together they form a complex system that works seamlessly to keep you healthy. Understanding the kidneys doesn't require a medical degree. When broken down into simple terms, it's easy to appreciate how these bean-shaped organs are essential to everyday life. The more we understand about how our kidneys work, the better we can take care of them, by staying hydrated, eating healthy, and avoiding substances that can cause harm. In short, the kidneys are not just body parts, they are life-sustaining machines, always running in the background. Appreciating their structure and function is the first step toward protecting your health and understanding just how amazing the human body really is. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed exploring human anatomy with us, don't forget to subscribe to Inside Us for more easy-to-understand videos related to human anatomy and organ system. See you in the next one.